The 2011 capture and killing of Muammar Gaddafi was meant to signal a new beginning for Libya after 42 years of his authoritarian rule. But within 3 years, the oil-rich nation descended into civil war, two parallel governments and smaller militias fighting for control. One side loosely backed by the UN with support from Turkey and Qatar, the other led by Army Commander Khalifa Haftar, supported by Egypt and Russia.
We have lost a lot of hope. You cannot imagine these 11 years, besides no electricity, no water, but when you see people actually being killed, houses being burned down, war is not an easy thing.
Some violence has continued since the 2020 truce brokered by Turkey and Russia. Since then, an interim government has chaotically shepherded Libya toward this presidential vote.
The elections are ripe, not for democracy or democratic transition, but essentially a return to authoritarianism. And the reasons for that are the number of electoral, legal and political disputes on the ground.
Firstly, interim Prime Minister and former Gaddafi ally Abdul Hamid Dbeibeh promised he wouldn't run in the election, but he changed his mind. He's widely reported to have studied at the University of Toronto, but U of T has no record of anyone of his name graduating. Secondly, in recent months, courts sentenced Haftar to death and excluded him from running for president, only for Haftar to be allowed to enter the race on appeal. And a third leading candidate, the son of Muammar Gaddafi, Saif al-Islam, was also barred from entering, but he had that overturned too. Speaking with the New York Times this year, he framed himself as a bringer of stability, but said little on policy. Saif had been imprisoned for war crimes, and just this month the International Criminal Court reminded the world that he is wanted for alleged crimes against humanity.
And he is certainly an ideological lightning rod in Libya. He really does cut right down the dividing line between those that want to transition towards a democratic and an equitable Libya, and those that just want to see it run by, certain tribes and certain members of Libya's communities that may ride in first class in an authoritarian boat whilst leaving everyone else in coach.
There are dozens of candidates, including others who've spent time in Canada. Analysts say as long as foreign powers continue to have a military influence in Libya, the country will remain divided and ultimately lawless.
What's very important, that we have to take back this legitimacy that we have given to these militias, to these criminals.
Libya's outgoing United Nations mediator thinks the country needs a vote as soon as possible, as the UN Security Council remains divided on its strategy for this troubled North African nation. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.